Hello there. We are setting up to do the live radio show on KOKC. I want to make sure that we can see everyone here. I think that will probably work. I'm just going to go ahead and keep this on for the next 15-20 minutes because I've had so much trouble getting to this point that I'm just going to leave it here for the time being, okay? Technology, oh my goodness, sometimes it is not my friend. So, stand by. And remember, we are a live radio show, so you can call in later on and talk to Scott or Scotty. So, thank you for sending that radio info yesterday.
You're welcome.
I was able to get it all done before I went to bed last night.
Good. My rhythm is to send it in the evening time, but
I understand.
When you give us a heads up in the morning, I can usually
that's why I
shuffle some things around, and
I meant to actually tell you on Thursday. So
that's even better. The
Yeah.
more heads up, the better. But I understand.
Still had to get up early this morning and go be on Channel 9 to promote the play.
Oh, nice. I'm glad you had an opportunity to promote it.
I thought I was going to be on last Saturday.
Yes, I remember.
And then on Friday, I texted the producer to confirm, and she said, "Oh, I have you down for next Saturday."
Things happen.
Yeah. But I'm booked again for the 22nd to promote our fundraiser.
Oh, really?
We're having a fundraiser on the 29th.
Fundraiser
for the theater.
CST?
Annual fundraiser.
Nice.
Readers theater presentations of 4 10-minute plays. And then I have 4 singers coming in to sing a couple of songs each.
Oh, nice.
So
and I'm guessing that's a public fundraiser.
Oh yeah.
Open to the public
to
attend.
Please do. $50 a head. We'll have food.
Nice.
And
when is that?
The 29th.
29th. What day of the week is that?
Saturday.
Okay. Yeah, weekends are better for an event like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to ask a whole bunch of busy people to come on a weeknight.
Right. Although I have been to some fundraisers on Thursday nights before.
Well, I guess they ran out of weekend.
There are just a lot of factors that go into choosing when to do something like that.
Oh, sure.
We're live streaming right now, as a matter of fact. I just need to let you know, so don't give away any trade secrets.
Got it.
so many micronutrients that our bodies crave.
Yeah, it's the highest mineral content of any of the seeds.
And Paul, sure.
It's interesting. It's always interesting listening to them before we get on.
I don't know exactly. I can't quite hear exactly what they're talking about. I don't know which of their products they might be talking about right now. But I take UltraCur.
Oh, really?
Every morning, every evening.
Huh.
Helps my arthritis in my hands.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about it for years.
Never
tried it.
When you you know how when you overwork and you stress your muscles and you got sore muscles and stuff, it's really good to those are that's inflammation, and
Exactly.
this turmeric reduces the pain from inflammation, and their turmeric gets into your bloodstream immediately, whereas every other turmeric that's on the market, you would really have to eat your body weight every day to get any benefit out of it.
Wow.
Because the body just doesn't absorb it.
Yeah.
They figured out how to do it.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
Ultra Botanica.
Ultra Botanica. Developed right over at the OMRF.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Hello there. The live stream is up right now, so don't say anything you don't want the world to hear.
Or pick your nose. If you mind people seeing you, pick your nose. Have you heard of anything in the last few days with the really windy weather that has been blown off or blown loose? I've got for me to talk about in my segment. I've We got shingles, metal, chimney caps, trees blown down, working men. We'll talk about that last. That's not really anything we've heard or seen, and don't want to hear or see anything about. But just a lot of shingles.
Not a lot. Not on my end, anyway. I mean, one is too
Plenty.
One is too many.
Well,
I saw neighbors, you know, those portable basketball goals, you know, that you can move around. Heavy weighted base blown over onto a car.
oh shoot. Well, as you say that, I've seen yard signs, or not yard signs, traffic signs.
So a railroad crossing marker, I guess. It didn't look like it was.
Trash cans.
Didn't look
sure.
like a car had hit it. It looked like it had just
Blown off.
blown off.
Um,
Yeah. Good morning to you too.
A man on a mission there.
Permission to board, Captain. What's
we
up?
can ask people to call in with their stories about something that's not
Oh,
on our
yeah.
list.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Basketball goals.
Yeah. Something unusual. We don't want to hear about the trampoline, you know, from the neighbor's yard. We hear about that all the time. We want,
What's
we
the
want
story?
something better than that.
Oh, I mean, with all the wind,
Oh,
we've
yeah,
seen a lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
wind-blown things,
Yeah.
wind-blown shingles, wind-blown trees, wind-blown
Yeah.
chimney caps, metal roofing, working men, not really, trash cans, traffic signs,
What about
basketball
down power,
goals.
down power line?
Power lines, you think?
Well, I mean, that could, yeah, right, yeah.
Have you seen it recently on the news or anywhere out and about?
I know when we've had severe storms, you know, the winds take down power lines.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm just saying with this last week's
No,
light
here.
winds, like
No.
80, you know, we had like a
Old,
high of
old friends.
close to 80 miles, 85 miles an hour in the city
Old
the other night.
friends.
No.
Boy, that he's here with
No.
or us.
Okay.
Well, the guy that used to do it for us, that
Oh.
left and moved back.
Well, one of them died.
And again.
Oh, Gannon also has 8. An
Okay.
8 o'clock show. I am going to ask Randy Kemp
What about the guy?
if they don't have anybody.
What about the guy that was here? That was the big radio personality that moved to Washington or someplace, and then
That
moved
was,
back.
he died.
He died. How?
Took his own life.
Oh my God! When was this?
About a year ago.
Oh man.
I had talked to him a couple of times. He was very lonely out there. He was still hung up on the girlfriend who had dumped him. And he was just very lonely. They found his body after several days.
You know, did anybody ever really say or know about Reed Mullins?
About who?
Reed. I felt like he might have taken his own life.
About
Reed Mullins.
Oh. You know, I don't know what he's doing right now, but he
No, he died.
Reed did?
Yeah.
Oh. You know, I'd forgotten about that.
Because I had been around him and it was just didn't all make sense. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And then, anyway. Scotty didn't like my trivia and he didn't like my dad's wisdom.
The dad's wisdom is many times recycled dad's wisdom. We needed something a little fresh. What was your?
Well, maybe you.
I didn't
want
like
to
your trivia question. I used your trivia question. I just
Yeah, but you
modified the
changed
answers.
the answer.
I just modified the answers because we talked.
That's perfectly fine, son.
Well, that's what happens when
Perfectly.
you rely on me for notes.
You take a license.
That's right.
Yeah, hey, that's fine.
We're 5 minutes out.
That's funny. It occurred to me this morning when I was texting back and forth with you. I was thinking somebody that would have really, really liked you. Your grandpa, you never knew. He was very literal too. I was thinking about my daddy, and I was thinking, my daddy would say words have
Say what you mean.
My daddy would say words have meaning. Scotty is the most literal person I've ever seen.
Yeah.
To the point that there's no reading between the lines. There's no interpretation, or it is. That's what it said.
Yeah.
I had sent him a text that need to buy a hops cleaning kit and clean the shotgun before we shoot it again.
Okay.
That was me telling him that he should do that.
Ah.
He didn't get that. And he said if I would reread it, if I get that out of what I said, that one of us needs to go back to school. And I said, you're the most literal person I've ever known in my life. That's funny.
My son-in-law is like that too. My son-in-law is like that too.
Really?
He's cut and dry.
Really?
Oh yeah.
No interpretation or no reading between the lines or looking for the hidden intent or
That's
meaning.
right.
It is. That's what it says.
So this new dryer we bought, it's a Bosch.
Yep.
We had to replace both the washer and the dryers. We just did them a few months apart,
Right.
which we should have done them together.
Right.
They're the same age, and although we were told at the time we did the washer, the dryer would probably still work. And a few months later it goes out.
Yeah.
But they've changed the technology.
Yeah.
This doesn't vent to the outside. It vents to the drain.
Never heard of any such thing.
It is.
I mean, we have a Bosch dryer, but it vents to the outside. I'm gonna have to go and I don't understand that.
It's technology that was
No,
developed.
you said the dryer
The dryer,
vents to the drain.
right? I don't know
How
what.
can air vent through a pipe that has a P-trap in it that is full of water?
Well, it sucks the water out, and I don't know. All I know is that
that's a mind-boggling concept to me. I'm
all I
gonna
know
have to.
is that they plugged the vent
Yeah.
in the wall.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked over it to see what it looks like, but it goes into the washer drain in the wall. And the
That-
dryer plugs into the washer.
That is bizarre to me. I'm gonna have to go and I want to see a.
And we also installed.
You need to pull that vent. Is that where's that, on a north wall? Where's that
Mhm.
vent? On
the north wall.
Yeah, you need to pull that vent out of there and fill that in with
Okay.
insulation and cover it up, because that's a weep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Gwen has a new account, HVAC, heating, cooling, and plumbing company.
Mm-hmm.
And he is promoting this thing, Laundry Pro 2.0 or something. And it's a device that mounts on the wall. You run cold water through it, and then it goes to the washer. Eliminates the need for laundry detergent. Technology developed for the space station.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, the clothes come out like brand new. Like they're so soft. They're just, and there's no, I mean, you don't use any detergent, any fabric softener, nothing. And we're about 20 seconds away. We ought to
We need to
count
get
it.
him to come.
Get in the game.
We need to get him to come advertise.
Here we go. Broadcasting live from the unbelievable Tyler Media Studio D in Oklahoma City, it's McRoof Talks Insurance on KOKC, AM 1520, FM 95.3. I'm Rick Allen Lippert, here with restoration specialist and Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCollum.
Good morning, Mr. Lippert.
Also here, HAAG-certified roofing inspector Scotty McCollum.
Howdy, Rick.
Running man Eric Yandell is the wizard on the other side of the glass. He will answer your calls to 405-478-1520.
It is Oklahoma, Eric.
I believe we're live streaming today on the McRoof Talks Insurance YouTube channel and waving at you right now. I say I believe because,
We believe.
I had to update a bunch of stuff and I think
it
we're
looks
there.
as though we're live streaming based on your computer screen.
Yeah. I do know that we're also on the iHeartRadio app, so you can hear us anywhere in the US of A. Just search for KOKC. Now, Act 1 of the show today will start as usual with our trivia question and other interesting tidbits, including the word of the week. That number again to answer the trivia question or to just ask a question, 405-478-1520. In Act 2, we'll hear Scotty's view from the rooftop. This week, Scotty discusses the challenges and the enjoyable aspects of springtime roof inspections in Oklahoma in a story titled, May the Force Be With You. Gravity, that is. Then in Act 3, we'll have more of your calls, plus we'll have some before and after the storm tips brought to you by RoofRx, and we'll wrap up with Dad's Wisdom brought to you by Energy Q. And coming back from break, some certified obscure historical trivia. I went to Enid yesterday, gentlemen, and refueling before heading back. The screen on the gas pump displayed a message from the lawyer telling me to say that S&CM LLC, doing business as McRoof.US, legally operates under Oklahoma registration number 800000002, and that the registration applies to both residential and commercial roofing. Now, how did he know?
That was some advanced hacking, because you know those numbers, the digit display on the pump. Those are very limited with how they can. They can present symbols and figures.
And how did he know I was going to need gas? How did he know I was going to that station and that pump?
He's really got your
I think we
number.
need to check your vehicle once we get out of here for the GPS tracker.
Yeah, he has bad juju. Okay. All right, so trivia question, Scotty. What's our trivia question?
The newer SBS modified asphalt technology that we talk about very often on this show yields shingles that are blank than traditional asphalt shingles. A, heavier. B, thicker. C, more pliable. D, more easily installed in a variety of climatic conditions. Or E, C and D.
We got that good and confused
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Rick, you might want to do it again.
So the newer SBS modified asphalt technology yields shingles that are heavier, thicker, more pliable, more easily installed, or more pliable and more easily installed than traditional asphalt
There
shingles.
you go. Good job,
We're looking
Rick.
for the modifier
Yeah,
in
that's
this
right.
sentence.
That's right.
Heavier, thicker, more
Modifier.
pliable, more easily installed.
I love it. Modifier in a modified asphalt polymer shingle. I love that.
How's
Rick.
that for
Way
synergy?
to go, man. You're
Okay,
good.
so if you think you know the answer to the question, you get your choice. If you get it correct, you get your choice of either tickets to Carpenter Square Theater, where we have Silent Sky playing right now, or $25 gift certificate from Lowe's, right?
That's right.
All right, so that's your
Well,
choice.
I think that's for Benny, since Benny probably has an annual subscription to the play by now. So
Yes.
maybe that's for Benny. I don't know.
Is all of it, yeah. So that number to call, 405-478-1520, and we'll tell you we'll read the question to you again and let you give a...
Maybe I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so now the word of the week, which kind of ties in.
As you who listen often know, I usually try to tie the word into the trivia and or our discussions that are going to follow. The word this week is ambient. Ambient. Ambient is an adjective. Ambient is existing or present on all sides, encompassing ambient air temperature, ambient light, ambient sound, of or relating to ambient music, music intended to serve as unobtrusive accompaniment to other activities. That would be ambient, okay? So there is ambient, encompassing.
Background sounds, that would be your background music, the elevator type music you hear at the grocery store.
Yeah, characterized
Yes.
by quiet, repetitive, instrumental sounds.
Back in the day, Muzak.
There you go. There you go. Exactly.
All right, so once again, the phone number if you want to answer the trivia question, 405-478-1520. Use the same number to ask a question if you have
Absolutely.
And it was really windy this past week. We had some wind. So if something unusual happened as a result of the wind,
Yes,
We
tell
wanna-
us a story.
Exactly. We want to know what you saw blowing around, and you know, we hear about the trampoline out of the neighbor's yard all the time. Give us something that we don't usually hear that you saw blowing around this week. I did hear what that Monday night before the tornadoes went into southeastern Oklahoma. I believe we had 93, 94 mile an hour recorded
Wow.
at Will Rogers. So these were
I didn't know
some,
it was that
yeah,
substantial.
these were some very severe winds. Absolutely.
I knew it gained momentum as it moved northeast, but I did not know that it was that in the city.
a neighbor of mine had the basketball goal, you know, the one with the heavy weighted base that you can move around, blew over on a car. You know, that was that's a heavy base.
Oh yes, that's
And it
several hundred
blew over.
pounds.
Depending on if they had it filled with sand
Or
if they
water.
had it filled
Yeah.
with water, you wouldn't expect that to blow over. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So,
No.
anyway.
Okay, so speaking of wind, you had windy.
Conditions on the roof.
yeah.
Yes. Many roofs that we did or inspected. Johnny and Kelvin, they took all the inspections this week because I was busy with other things. So we also got 3 roof projects done, or 2.
At
least
don't,
2.
Don't
I
give
think
me
it
the
was 3.
line, Scotty. Don't
So-
give me the line.
So yeah, it was.
We got a
it
call.
was-
Who's
it
out
was
there?
nice for our guys.
Jerry is on the line. Hello, Jerry.
Hey, old friend Jerry, how you doing, buddy? You didn't call to tell me that McRoof metal panel roof has blown off of your house, did you? Okay, all right. Phew, I was just making sure. What's that?
He was.
Yeah, I think you did hear that. No, I told you 130 mile an hour plus. So, and I stand behind that. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah, that's
you're right about
exactly
that,
right.
Jerry.
You are correct. So.
What have you been up to? And do you have a story for us about any unusual wind damage this week that you observed? You're right. Many of those people, actually. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
I
he
do. That's my
does.
specialty.
That's his challenge.
Yeah. My chosen challenge. Yes. Yes. Cougar paws.
Cougar. Cougar. Not cooter. Cougar. Cougar.
I think that's a different channel, Jerry.
Hey, Jerry, you want to give a shot at the trivia
I
question?
think I'm going to get me some cooter paws.
Jerry,
Yes.
what's your best guess at the trivia question? What are we looking for in the newer SBS modified asphalt shingle technology? Does it make the shingles heavier, thicker, more pliable, more easily installed, or a combination of those than traditional asphalt shingles?
Ding,
That's
ding,
correct.
ding, ding,
You
ding.
got it, Jerry.
You are correct. So let me restate this. Easily installed in a variety of climatic conditions. Okay. And the difference in SBS modified and our traditional shingles is that our traditional shingles, most things in the construction world that you've ever called and asked me about or that we've talked about, that you do outside, caulking and painting, laying masonry, stonework, tile work, any of those kinds of things, putting a roof on, you were generally told 40 degrees and rising.
I've heard you say that for
was
years.
the required ambient condition.
That's
okay?
right.
40 degrees and rising. Well, with modified SBS, shingle actually developed for cold weather installation to be able to spread out the season in our northern climes, allow them to be able to get roofs replaced or repaired before the next storm season comes around. That temperature is 20 degrees.
Oh
Okay,
my, that's a
so
big.
we can install down to 20 degrees and not risk blowing through, fracturing the shingles. Now, you still have to take some precautions and do some things a certain way. You have to preheat your hip and ridge shingles and preheat where you're going into valleys and bending shingles. But that 20 degrees, that's the same 20 degrees that we require to install modified asphalt roof cap sheets. Okay?
Okay.
Mod bit.
Ah.
That's what it is.
Ah.
Mod bit is essentially the same concept as SBS modified shingles. One's in the commercial low slope membrane roof system, and the other is in the residential steep roof. So there
Okay.
you go. 20 degrees now versus 40 degrees traditional.
All right. Hey, Jerry, I'll let you tell Eric what your choice of prize is going to be. You don't have to shame me on the air if you want the Lowe's gift card.
Oh,
But I
gosh.
will tell you that the current play at Carpenter Square Theater is a beautiful, joyous play about the woman who discovered how to measure the distance between stars.
And Wanda and I are going tonight, Jerry. You could come join us at the theater.
Yeah, you could. You could. Well, we have a matinee tomorrow
That's
afternoon,
funny.
and we're
That's
playing
funny.
again next weekend, Thursday through Sunday.
Hey, Jerry, good to talk to you, man. Thanks for calling and playing our game today, and you stay safe, all right?
Stay and talk.
And we'll see you at the home show here in a couple of weeks.
Yes, we hope to.
Okay,
very
see
good.
you
Thanks,
there.
Enjoy
Jerry.
your weekend.
All right, so while Eric is quickly getting that information, you mentioned the home show. That's coming up in 2 weeks from this weekend. We'll be broadcasting live on the 22nd. And
Do we have a plan for that?
What do you mean, do we have a plan for it?
Well, layout. We were talking
Oh, yeah.
about layout. We were
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
the structure.
Yeah, Carly's been working hard. We've got it all worked out, got all the details mapped out now, and ready to execute. So it's going to be a big time. We're going to have the Blue Falcon Aerial folks in the booth with us. I think Avery from ORCA, Oklahoma Roofing Contractors Association, is going to stop by, spend some time with us. Going to do the show with you and I on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And then he and I are going to hot-foot it over to the stage because we've got a presentation as soon as our radio show ends. We've got to go jump up on the stage. We're going to be talking about building better practices, systems, roofs, IBHS fortified, and how that is all going to drive value to Oklahoma consumers and be able to ultimately stem the tide of the insurance crisis that we all find ourselves in the middle of right now.
All
So,
right, and
very
with that, we'll
interesting.
take our first break. That's the end of Act 1 on this week's McRoof Talks Insurance on KOKC, AM 1520, FM 95.3. Hey, you can still call and ask a question of these guys about roofing, about insurance, homeowners or business. Give us a call, 405-478-1520. We'll be back with obscure historical trivia after this break.
Here's Jerry's info.
Good.
He
Oh, he wants
said,
tickets, huh?
yeah. Well, he said, "Hey, can I change that for the Lowe's gift card?" I'm like, he thought you were serious.
Yeah, we are.
Lowe's gift card?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'd let him know then, because I think he wanted more of that than.
I'm sure he did. McRoof Talks Insurance back on the air for Act 2 of today's show. On this date, in 1817, the New York Stock Exchange was founded. On this date in 1838, the U.S. Mint in New Orleans began producing dimes. I bet they didn't have FDR's figurehead on those original.
Probably not.
1838. No.
1838. And then on this date in 1855, the first train crossed the first U.S. railway suspension bridge over Niagara Falls.
That's cool.
Wow.
I bet that was scary.
I'll bet that was. I bet
It
that
took
was.
some brave souls to get on that train.
No kidding.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, okay, monkey man.
Listen to it.
All right, so McRoof Talks Insurance back on the air for Act 2. You mentioned the home show coming
Yeah.
up in 2
Yeah.
weeks, the home and outdoor living show. But this coming week on Monday and Tuesday, ORCA, the Oklahoma Roofing Contractors Association, is having their expo up in Edmond, and I know you're going to be presenting on Tuesday.
We will. We're gonna have Trevor Thompson, our Certainty Territory rep, and Oklahoma Insurance Commissioner Glenn Mulready are going to be on a panel with me. We're going to be talking about the same things I just mentioned: the building better practices, the systems roofs, driving value through systems, and the ultimate value, the ultimate system in my mind, the fortified roof system. And I'm sure the commissioner will be giving an update on the grant rollout. The program rolled out this week. We'll see how that's going and how he sees the program unfolding for the consumers of the state of Oklahoma, and what we've got coming on down the road in the second, third, and fourth releases of the grant program to ultimately get us to that 1,000 grants in calendar year 2025. So,
Have you heard anything about the update, how it rolled out the other day?
no, just there's been some conversations back and forth between Carly and I with OID. As with any new program, there's a technical glitch
Of
here or
course,
there,
yeah.
some little things like that. But I think that by and large, the consumers are being able to get in and get their applications completed. They're being able to reach out to and decide on who they're going to have to do their evaluation. The first step in that process is let's just call it, for lack of better terms, a pre-evaluation, a pre-qualification. In other words, there are specific things that will render your property unmitigable. Okay, in other words, it is either it can be mitigated. We can get you to a fortified standard, or we cannot get you to a fortified standard. The number one disqualifier is a foundation type. Okay, if you have an unreinforced pier foundation, or you have a dry stack foundation, then that is going to eliminate, no matter what you do, that structure cannot qualify for fortified consideration. Even though we're talking about building a fortified roof system, okay, foundation is the first place we look as an evaluator to pre-qualify. The second place we look as an evaluator to pre-qualify is up in the attic on the roof. We're looking at the roof framing. We're looking at the size and the spacing of the framing, the structural members, okay? And we're looking at what that deck is. If you had we're looking at if you have a plywood or an OSB deck, then we're measuring the thickness of it to make sure that it qualifies. If not, that's something that could be changed, okay? It would be an additional incremental cost in that fortified package. But if your rafter framing, for instance, was not 24-inch on center or the proper dimension, that could also be addressed by coming in and adding additional structure. And again, it would be an incremental cost increase to the fortified system. That's what the grant program is for. So the one thing that we really can't do anything about is that foundation type. Most people have a slab foundation. A lot of people have a pier and beam foundation. Those foundation systems are fine, okay? It's just those people who have what we call unsupported, unreinforced piers. In other words, you have independent piers that aren't tied together in any way, shape, form, or fashion, or you have what we call dry stack, which is dry stack stone or masonry or something of some type that, again, is not tied together and reinforced in any way. That will not qualify, and we can't get you into the program because there's nothing we can do about that.
Right.
Okay, so that's kind of how that pre-qualification part of it goes.
Wow.
So.
Okay.
Interesting.
All
And
right. I do
again,
find
there's
that
only 7
Okay, so
evaluators in Oklahoma right now?
The biggest problem that we have, and you know, we're working hard to make sure that it doesn't become an issue from the end user standpoint, the consumer, the citizens of the state of Oklahoma. There are only 4 evaluators, or I haven't looked at the site in the last couple of days. There were only 4 approved evaluators in the rollout of the program.
Okay.
Okay. And 2 of those.
In the state?
4 in Oklahoma,
Gosh.
yes.
Wow.
Okay. And I, of course, am one of those.
Right.
There's a company in Tulsa that is one of those 4, and then there are 2 of the larger, more I'm not going to say national, but large kind of engineering firms that are out of state. One's located, I believe, in Atlanta, and one maybe in North Carolina or something. That are the other 2. So you really have.
Are you serious?
Yes. So
Oh my God.
so obviously, if you're looking for
Slim
local,
pickings.
if you're looking for somebody you can look eyeball to eyeball, you got very few choices. And then unfortunately, on the contractor side of things, it's almost as slim pickings. Okay. And this will change. We'll be getting more and more evaluators. We'll be getting more and more roofing contractors in and approved in the program. When the program was released, there were either 7 or 8 roofing contractors, okay, that were in the program. Now, every person in the grant program has to have 3 contractors provide them with an estimate, okay? And obviously you're dealing with public funds, okay? So that's the reason for that requirement. Now, once you have those 3 estimates, you do not have to choose the least expensive of the 3. You as a consumer can choose the one that you are the most comfortable with, who you believe is going to drive the greatest value to you in the process, okay? But if there are only 7 or 8 in there and everyone has to have 3 estimates,
Right.
okay?
People will be talking to a lot of the same people.
People will be talking to a lot of the same people. That's exactly right, Scotty. So, you know, and I'll just say this, as a consumer, please, if you don't feel like that you're getting notifications, you're being contacted, for instance, by an evaluator, like you would have expected or were led to believe that you would be. When you get into the contractor piece of it, if you're struggling with getting 3 people to come out and give you, communicate all those things back to Oklahoma Insurance Department. They really want to know what's actually going on in the field. They're monitoring from the standpoint of their portal, their provider portal, where I, for instance, as an evaluator, I have to go in and mark that we've made that initial contact with that person within 48 hours. I have to go in and mark that I have done that initial pre-qualify within a certain amount of time. If it's not done within that time, OID will reassign it to someone else, okay? But they need to know what's going on. They need to know what the pain points, the frustrations, from the end users, the people who are trying to get this money in your hands to improve the protection that you've got for you and your family. Let OID know what's going on.
Well, before we
Good
go
advice.
up on the roof with Scotty, I want to ask you, you mentioned that these are public funds, and for someone who maybe just tuned in and doesn't fully comprehend what you've been talking about, there is a grant. The state is administering grants to homeowners looking to fortify their roofs with these better building practices,
Right.
and it's upwards of $10,000 per applicant.
It is the actual cost for the difference in the fortified roof system components and what your roof previously was, up to $10,000.
Okay. All right.
So there are people that it will cost them more than $10,000 to get to a fortified standard. There are people that it will cost significantly less than $10,000 to get to a fortified standard. They will not receive the $10,000. They will receive the delta. They will receive the difference between their roof as it exists now and taking their roof, improving it to a fortified standard where they're eligible for the certification, okay, from IBHS Fortified with the wind and hail endorsement.
And I believe, as we had talked about before, that difference in cost from the quote standard way of doing it and the fortified way adds about 12 to 15% to the cost of a roof replacement. Is that close?
That's probably
I say
close.
yes.
In that ballpark.
Yeah, and again, if you take it on average, you've got to realize there are going to be homes that have to have additional structural members added.
Right,
Okay,
right.
because
Like
the
you were talking about
spacing in the attic's not
exactly.
correct. Okay, so that's
Adding
going to be more
rafters.
expensive.
But barring that,
You're
On
going to have
average.
roofs that have to be redecked. Okay, obviously those are going to be at the higher. Those are going to be kind of
Those would
the
be
most.
outliers.
Yeah, those are going to be the most expensive ones.
Mhm.
Okay, but then you're going to have a roof that somebody already has. For instance. They've got the proper roof decking, they've got the proper framing, and now what you're doing is you're talking about renailing or refastening the roof deck.
right.
Okay, you're talking about sealing the roof deck with the approved tape or the ice and water membrane. You're talking about the attachment of the edge metals. Okay, you're talking about the attachment of the underlayment. You're talking about the way that the starter course all the way around the perimeter is attached, okay? And then you're talking about everything that you put on that roof being system compliant. In other words, every nail, every fastener, everything that you put on there, shingle, underlayment, hip and ridge accessory, ventilation, has to meet the appropriate codes and have the stamps and the certifications on those products that the evaluator then sends to Fortified, and they go, check, check,
Right.
check, 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 and all of a sudden you've got a fortified roof.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a lot more than.
So those are going to be at the lower end.
Sure.
Okay. They're going to be more expensive, obviously, because it's labor and materials that are not currently used, even in the best systems roofs. Okay. Like our Certainty Integrity roof system, this is more than that. This is integrity on steroids.
Yeah.
There's going to be an additional cost.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Scotty, we have 2.5 minutes. Can you do your?
I think so.
All right. So let's get up on the roof.
It didn't take him that long to fly off that roof.
So here Scotty discusses the challenges and the enjoyable aspects of springtime roof inspections. May the force be with you. Gravity, that is.
Yes, Rick. Well, the enjoyable aspects, that really is just having a nice breeze on your back when you're going up the roof to perform an inspection or a repair. But this week's winds, they posed much more of a challenge for us because they were pretty
Stout.
pretty swift. Yes. So our roof crew, especially on a steep roof, they were all harnessed up, as they usually are on most things above a 4 and 12 pitch, but definitely a necessity in this wind. And this time of year, usually the wind sets in and it lasts at least 2 months where it's just pretty constant. It seems like it doesn't change from day to day
We
until the
canceled-
middle of May.
We canceled an install one day. I think Wednesday or Thursday we canceled an install
Did
just
we?
because. Yes,
I didn't
we
know
did.
that.
Yeah. Well, we had a fairly large roof that was a redeck, so they're carrying 4x8 sheets of
Oh man,
plywood
that could
or
be like
OSB.
a parasail.
Yeah.
Exactly.
See a guy fly off and
Yeah.
never see him again.
Henry did that.
Oh no.
What do you mean?
Hector did that.
Oh wow.
Hector tells me the story about he was going up a roof with a sheet of OSB and a big gust of wind caught him, and he said he literally just flew right down to the ground.
Oh my.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
I would love to see that on video. Yeah, I'd really like to hear somebody's stories about something other than this short list of things that we saw get dislodged and displaced by these strong winds that we've had this week. And that list starts with shingles, of course.
Yeah.
Lots of people call in with shingles, whether it's our installs, which very few of those, but a lot of people with an older roof that have had, maybe some needs for a while and have realized that the roof isn't going to make it through another Oklahoma windstorm. Metal roofs or gutters, a lot of those down.
Yep.
Trees, we've seen branches come down and smash parts of people's roof lines and puncture people's
let
homes.
me say one thing, Scotty. We had Jerry on the line a little while ago.
Yeah.
And I said, now, Jerry, you're not calling to tell me your metal roof blew off your house, right? Because McRoof put that roof on there, okay?
Yep.
So when I put that roof on there, and I tell people this, when we install a metal roof for you, that roof is installed to 130 mile an hour wind warning. Okay, that's what our expectation is. That's I think that's EF2. I think that's EF2
Okay.
type range is where that is. I believe that's correct. But if your metal roof blew off in the winds that we had this week, okay, and even I believe that tornado in Ada was an EF0, okay. If your metal roof blew off, I can guarantee you I didn't install it. Okay, that's all
That's
I've
a
got
good
to say.
guarantee.
That's
Scotty,
all I've
wrap
got
it
to
up.
say.
And to round the list out, trash, the normal things, trash cans.
Sure. Oh yeah,
Tra-
laying all over Broadway Extension up and down the road.
Yeah, traffic signs.
I saw
you
rail-
saw your neighbor's basketball goal.
Yeah.
I saw a railroad crossing sign, and it did not look like a car had hit it, because you know how those kind of get.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
actually just looked like it.
Oh wow. Well, yep. And that's Oklahoma windy weeks for you around McRoof.
All right. And with that, we'll take our second break. We'll be back with Act 3 of McRoof Talks Insurance on KOKC, AM 1520, FM 95.3, anywhere in the US of A on iHeartRadio. Live streaming, we think, on YouTube. It looks like it from our point of view. We'll be back with more historical trivia in honor of Women's History Month and International Women's Day. We'll be right back.
So I bet I know where you're going to be Monday night.
What's that?
I bet I know where you're going to be Monday night. You're going to be watching the Ringo Starr
Oh,
deal.
I am certainly going to
certainly have it recording.
record it. Yeah, I saw that on the news this morning. Scotty's got it.
Spring is knocking at our door, and as of this week, we already have had our first Oklahoma storms of 2025. If you don't know but would like some well-founded peace of mind about how your roof is performing, call McRoof to schedule your professional assessment on your property. Our solutions team will provide a thorough manual inspection, detailed written report, conditions photo album, and a series of recommendations for repairs, maintenance, or insurance claim. In providing accuracy and service, we help you to maximize the comfort, durability, and lasting value of your property, even if that means that we don't sell you a roof today or at all. We want to be your professional roofing and insurance restoration specialist, so let our family serve yours today. For quality, integrity, and lasting value, call McRoof at 855-766-3405. McRoof.us. Simply better roofs.
McRoof Talks Insurance back on the air for Act 3 of today's show. On this date, in 1884, Susan B. Anthony addressed the U.S. House Judiciary Committee, arguing for an amendment to the U.S. Constitution granting women the right to vote. This is International Women's Day, and we're in the middle of Women's History Month. On this date in 1945, Phyllis Daly became the first black nurse sworn in as a U.S. Navy ensign. And then 5 years later, in 1950, on this date, the first woman medical officer assigned to a naval vessel. And then on this date in 1986, Martina Navratilova became the first tennis player, male or female, to earn $10 million in 1 year.
Wow.
All right, so
That's a
here
lot of
we
movement.
are. Act 3. What's been going on with Roof RX these days?
Oh man, there's a lot going on with Roof RX these days. We're kind of getting Roof RX where we're building everything that people don't see about Roof RX. We're in the process right now of building everything that will ultimately be client facing about Roof RX, which is for those of you who don't know what Roof RX is my conceptualization of an inspect, repair, and maintain company totally separate from a roofing entity. In other words, inspections that are about unredacted data, that are about actual factual information to put into the hands of consumers for their own purposes, okay, and not driven by the motivations of a roofing company, okay. The idea that we present to the marketplace, a concept that doesn't exist. I've had a few people who claim that it does exist, but it really doesn't. And that is the concept of lifetime workmanship guarantees on repairs that are performed, okay? Now, everyone has to understand that lifetime workmanship guarantee does not extend to the totality of your roof structure, okay?
Workmanship is workmanship.
It is for the work that company, Roof RX, has performed, okay? So that's that part of it. And then the third part of it is rolling all of that into that perpetual maintenance and care. Roofs have a life just like anything else has a life, okay? It has a functional, has a utility, has a service life in that roof structure. And every roof is at a different place and point in time relative to that life, has different needs. And so this is a system that will give you the ability to have qualified inspections with unredacted data that is just raw data for the end user, repairs that are done to bring that roof up to as good a condition as it can possibly be given where it is in its lifespan, okay? A maintenance plan that keeps that roof in that condition, okay, and gives you the documentation that you need to be able to provide to your insurance company, to provide to a real estate agent, to provide to anyone who might need that information to validate the condition of that roof, okay? And that's what we're building. We're building now what all that looks like, facing the client. So when you go in and you log in and you go into a client portal, you'll be able to access all of this information in a way that's meaningful to you. We have a number of end users for this. They're not all consumers from the standpoint of home and business owners. We have a community of insurance companies. We have a community of property managers. And we have a community of institutional properties and things that can all use these services to integrate it into a seamless process for the evaluation, the repair, and the maintenance of that roof to ultimately achieve the performance and the utility of that structure that it was intended to give to the consumer. So that's what RoofRx is in a nutshell.
You tell people about your crystal ball. I don't have a crystal ball like you do, so I can't see. But I do have some common sense, and it sounds like what you've described could be extremely beneficial, number one, to property owners,
Mm-hmm.
could be beneficial to insurance providers,
Mm-hmm.
carriers,
Mm-hmm.
who extend coverage to, large residential properties, small residential properties,
Anything.
commercial properties,
Yeah.
institutional properties, government properties, all that, and proactively mitigate issues before they ever arise.
Well, and the reality of it is that when you look at it from the standpoint of the insurance marketplace, we all know what the constriction in that marketplace is. We all know what the issues and things, and we know that when we've gone from having a few billion-dollar weather-related storms a year in the United States of America to having 23 or more, one every 16 days, we all understand something's got to change. Well, what has to change is the degree to which
Proactivity.
the degree to which everyone has knowledge. Okay, I'll give you here in a nutshell, real easy. You'll get in the majority of our marketplace, the people that are listening to us today, they are served by what we call the middle market in insurance, okay? That is the State Farms and the Allstates and the USAAs and the farmers and the shelters and the Oklahoma Farm Bureau, companies like that, okay? There is no such thing as individual risk underwriting that is done in that market, okay? You're being lumped together with a group of homogeneous properties, and that's how your rates are being determined based on your zip code, okay? I'm just going to say this. A 10-year-old roof is not a 10-year-old roof is not a 10-year-old roof. But the insurance companies treat it like a 10-year-old roof is a 10-year-old roof is a 10-year-old roof. It is not true. Every roof was installed using certain products, a certain methodology, in a certain way by a certain contractor who did or did not do certain things, and ventilated or not ventilated the way that contractor built it, okay? I have been on roofs that I built in Oklahoma 16 years ago that look like the day I built them because they were a superior product. They were properly installed in a systems installation of products that were intended to be used together, and they were properly ventilated, okay? They perform.
Right.
They perform. So the insurance company should have the data. You as a consumer should have the data to be able to reward you for having a 10-year-old roof that looks like a 1-year-old roof. Instead of throwing you into the class of 10-year-old roofs, and you now have an actual cash value policy with depreciation on it, and you now have all these exclusionary endorsements and everything on, when your roof is as good as the one that was put on your neighbor's house last year. That is what this data and information is intended to do. Okay?
And that's what RoofRx is.
That's what RoofRx is
doing.
building right now.
Okay. All right. Ooh, that means it's time to before the storm and after the storm. we're whether we want it or not, as you said earlier, we're into storm season, Scotty.
Yes, we are. Which means people should wise up when it comes to knowing what is on the roof. Maybe they had damage they don't even know about from last week because it's not in an obvious location that can be visible from the ground. That is visible from the ground. So, what should you do, Rick? You should call McRoof, call Roof
McRoof.
RX,
Yeah.
have an inspection performed by,
Well-
even if it's not us. There's other local contractors that do a good job, and if you have a good relationship with one of those, and you don't have any reason to suspect your roof is bad, give the contractor who installed your roof a call. Have them give your roof a warranty checkup. See how it's performing.
But I will say this: when you have winds like we've had this week, and I'll generalize, when you've had 60, 70 mile an hour winds, at least go out and take a lap around your house.
Exactly.
Okay? Just something that easy. Look, you hadn't been in the backyard all week. There may be a shingle or two laying back there. Go look they may not be yours, they may be your neighbors, but go back there, make a lap around your house. You're looking for any kind of limbs, branches, trees, anything that's blown on your roof, looking for anything that looks like it's misplaced or maybe not like it used to be, and maybe you're not sure what it is you're looking at. Take a picture of it, shoot it over to Carly or call us, and we'll get somebody out there that knows what they're looking at. At least you'll know. And I'll tell you that if you've got windblown shingles, you have damage right now, you need to get it addressed before we really go through the storms. You think you've got underlayment up there, and you probably do have, but you may have a nail right there that is now exposed, that is not properly seated, or that is backing out of the decking. That's going to allow water inside your house. You don't just put this off and wait and, it's spring storm season, we'll just wait till storm season's over. You can't do that.
Well, the thing about wind damage is that it accumulates. It adds up quickly. You have one shingle blown off today from last week's storm. If you wait and you don't address that, it could be 5 by next week.
Because now
it
you
could
have
be 15
now
by
you have new edges all around that
Exactly.
one
it
that
could
was
be
displaced
15
that are
in another few weeks, and it could be half your roof by in another month.
Yep.
I mean, you just never know.
You never know.
But the place you always start is with a qualified roof inspector. We say it all the time. It's not a roofer. It is someone that has credentials specific to roofing. That's HAAG credentials, perhaps an independent adjuster, perhaps an engineer of some type, but you need a certified roof inspector. That's what you want. You want a qualified roof inspector to look at your roof and give you a report, who is not motivated to sell you anything. He's there to do a report for you.
Okay, and that was brought to
Exactly.
you by Roof RX, the prescription for your ailing roof. I need to say before we wrap up today's show that S&CM LLC, doing business as McRoof.us, legally operates under Oklahoma registration number 8000002, and that the number registration applies to both residential and commercial roofing.
Yes, last tip, review your insurance policy
Oh,
before
yeah.
we have another storm event, not after. It's too late. It's too late when it's already done. Please, if you don't understand the terms of your policy, call Carly and send us your policy so we can review it for you, because this time of year, it's most critical to do that before we have any more damaging events.
Okay, we'll be back here next week. In 2 weeks, we'll be at the OKC Spring Home and Outdoor Living Show at Fair Park. So come out and see us there. We'll be broadcasting live from the McRoof.us booth.
In the Bennett Event Center.
That's
Yes.
right. All right, so Eric is going to push that button, and Traveling Music is going to start right away. So who's
Dad's
doing
Wisdom.
Dad's Wisdom today?
Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. That's Captain America, Roger Staubach, and
Is it really?
a bunch of other people.
A bunch
Yeah.
of other people, yeah. Well, actually, when I mentioned it to my wife yesterday, she said, "Well, that was Roger Staubach who said that."
I had never heard that. I
You never
mean,
heard that? I
it's-
thought it was
Something I've heard in other sources.
Some other football coach, I've forgotten. Anyway, this has been episode number
New
50.
Rockney or
57.
Vince Lombardi or something.
Yeah, Vince Lombardi, that was it. We will
Have a
be
good
back
weekend.
next week with McRoof Talks Insurance. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Eric.
Snow today
Thank
and
you.
win next week.
Ooh, and set your clocks forward tonight. We're springing forward.